Days of Our Lives news. The Phoenix's shadow. Is Stefan really dead as Rafe drops bombshell while Leo and Dimitri walk into a trap? By Salem Spectator staff, February 21, 2026. The drama in Salem is reaching a fever pitch as the icy grip of February gives way to winds of change that are less about spring and more about the chaos the DiMera family inevitably brings. This week, two major storylines are colliding with explosive force. Commissioner Rafe Hernandez drops a financial bombshell regarding the late, or is he? Stefan DiMera, while the ill-fated duo of Leo Stark and Dimitri von Leuschner walk directly into a trap that could have deadly consequences. The Stefan question. A fortune and a funeral. It has been weeks since Rafe Galen Gearing had to deliver the heartbreaking news to his sister, Gabby Cherie Jimenez, that her husband, Stefan Brandon Barish, was dead. The confirmation came from highly suspect sources, first from the villainous Peter Blake, Dan Gautier, and then from the master manipulator Vivian Alamain, Louise Sorrell. For Gabby, the loss was devastating, yet a tiny part of her refused to believe the man she loved was truly gone. Her instincts, as usual, might be right. This week, the investigation takes a dramatic turn. According to the latest Peacock previews, Rafe is forced to revisit the case, not just out of familial loyalty, but due to a procedural necessity. Rafe later tells Eli that if Stefan is indeed dead, then as his last widow, Gabby stands to inherit a massive fortune, reports Soap Opera News. This revelation reframes the entire mystery. Suddenly, Stefan's death isn't just a personal tragedy, it's a financial earthquake. The question of whether Stefan is alive has been the subject of intense fan speculation. Vivian's story about Stefan dying of a heart problem has always seemed too convenient, especially given her history of burying people alive. Furthermore, when Kat Annalyn McCord and Rafe discovered Stefan's death certificate, they found it suspicious, wondering if the DiMeras had faked his demise to keep him hidden. Adding fuel to the fire is the presence of Dr. Rolf's mysterious experiments, which always leave the door open for miraculous resurrections. If Stefan is alive, Vivian is almost certainly behind it. Sources close to the production speculate that Vivian may have swapped Stefan with his deceased twin, Jake, to throw off authorities and keep Stefan prisoner away from Gabby, whom Vivian despises. If that's the case, the massive fortune Rafe mentions could be the bait that finally forces Vivian to show her hand, or brings Stefan out of hiding. A wedding crasher's trap. While the Hernandez family grapples with potential millions, the comedic relief team of Leo Stark, Greg Reichardt, and Javi Hernandez is walking into a nightmare. Their recent wedding was already a chaotic affair, capped off by the shocking return of a man Leo hoped he'd never see again, Dimitri von Leuschner Peter Port. The initial shock of Dimitri crashing the reception has quickly escalated into a dangerous game. Spoilers for the week of February 9–13 indicated that Dimitri would get the upper hand on Gwen, but the tables are about to turn in a way no one expects. New video previews show a confrontation in the town square where Rafe suddenly appears and places Dimitri under arrest. At first glance, it seems like justice is finally served. However, in the twisted world of Salem, an arrest is rarely the end of the story, it's often the beginning of a more elaborate trap. Given Dimitri's history of faking his own death and his penchant for manipulation, his return feels too convenient. Is he really so careless as to walk into a public square and get himself caught? Sources suggest this is exactly what Dimitri wants. By getting arrested, he may be trying to establish a public alibi or gain access to someone inside the Salem PD. For Leo, this is the ultimate test of his new marriage. He has repeatedly tried to prove his love to Javi, but Dimitri's return has forced Leo to confront his dark past. As Dimitri faces off with Gwen and attempts to drive a wedge between the newlyweds, Leo finds himself in a no-win situation. If he helps the authorities put Dimitri away for good, he might finally be free. But if Dimitri has connections on the inside, or if his arrest is part of a larger scheme to escape and flee with Leo, then walking into the police station might be walking into the lion's den. The shifting sands of Salem. Amidst the chaos of the DiMera fortune and Dimitri's legal troubles, the rest of Salem is undergoing a massive transformation. The most significant shift is the farewell to Billy Flynn as Chad DiMera. Flynn's last episode aired this week, closing a 12-year chapter for the character. Chad leaves Salem with his children, seeking a fresh start away from the DiMera madness. The stuff that's airing now is what I remember fondly because they are genuine goodbyes, Flynn told TV Insider, noting his poignant final scenes with Dan Feuerriegel, EJ, and Susan Hayes, Julie. Chad's departure leaves a power vacuum in the DiMera empire, just as the question of Stefan's survival looms. If Stefan is alive and returns to claim his fortune and his wife, he will find a very different Salem. Gabby, who has been mourning, has grown closer to Philip Jean-Paul Lavoisier, and their bond is strengthening. A Stefan return would create an impossible love triangle. Meanwhile, the DiMera legacy continues to haunt the next generation. Theo is grappling with the reality of being a DiMera after the kidnapping ordeal, and Johnny is struggling to balance being CEO with his fears for Chanel's high-risk pregnancy. What's next? As we look ahead to next week, all eyes are on the Salem PD and the DiMera mansion. Rafe's bombshell about Gabby's inheritance sets the stage for a financial war. If Stefan is declared legally dead, Gabby controls the DiMera purse strings, a thought that will send EJ and Kristen into a panic. If Stefan is alive, his return will be one of the most explosive moments of the year. For Leo and Dimitri, the trap remains undefined. Is Dimitri using an arrest to get close to Leo in lockup? Or has Rafe and Jada's brainstorming finally paid off with a solid case? One thing is certain. When these two come face to face behind bars, the truth, and their dangerous attraction, will be impossible to contain. Stay tuned. Salem. The truth about Stefan DiMera is buried, but not forgotten.